This is AMI Inside, CES 2016.
It holds over 170,000 attendees, takes over the city of Las Vegas, and is the largest innovation event in the world. I'm Grant Hardy for Accessible Media, and I'm standing in the broadcast tower overlooking the show floor. And in the next hour, I'm going to take you inside CES 2016.
For the past 49 years, CES, formerly known as the Consumer Electronics Show, takes over the famous Las Vegas Strip. The latest tech gadgets and more take up over 2.2 million net square feet of exhibit space. Rachel Greenhorn, Senior Manager of Communications for CES, tells us more.
CES is the world's gathering place for all who thrive on the business of consumer technologies. That's what we like to say. It is the place where everyone from around the world comes to talk about tech, to discover the latest tech trends, and to see innovation in real life. People come here from around the world to do business, to have meetings, to make deals. We have 50,000 people who come here from outside of the US. We have 150 countries represented here on the show floor. So the 2014 Winter Olympics had fewer countries represented than we have here in Las Vegas this week.
What's it actually like to be here? How would you describe it for someone who's never been?
It is incredibly dazzling. I mean, the show floor halls just expand for miles and miles and miles. And it's 50 football fields of exhibit space. So when you're walking through the show floor, you see these huge displays from some of the biggest brand names, obviously LG, Samsung, Sony, companies that you know as like the core of the consumer technology business, with beautiful displays and the latest innovations in Ultra HD 4K television. And then we also have startups. We have an area of the show floor called Eureka Park that is dedicated to startups. And that's where you find tabletop displays with true new products that you've never seen before. And that's where they can connect with investors and press and potential partners.
Now, you've touched on this a little bit, but what are some of the hottest trends and product categories this year?
The first generation of 3D printers we saw at the show printed in plastics. Now you could print in a host of materials. You can print in ceramic, in wood, in food. You can print food. They're printing jewelry, they're printing clothing. That's a great area to check out. And sensors are getting cheaper and more ubiquitous, and they are embedding them into everything. And as everything becomes connected, and this is what we call the Internet of Things, it's going to make our lives more efficient, safer. It's going to take away less of the task time that we have, and more, you're going to have more family time.
The Internet of Things, I like that. Now, in the age of drones, smart homes, and autonomous cars, one company has decided to go a little retro this year. But of course, there's a new twist. It too can be connected. So dust off those boxes, pull out your vinyl, and get ready for Sony's newest record player. Let's find out more with Sony Canada's Carl Warmanick.
What Sony has done this year is we've introduced a brand new player that's got a very unique twist to it. Because the challenge with vinyl is that as we listen to it more, as we drop the needle down onto the record, we do start to lose a little bit of the quality. There's some degradation over time. So it's not going to sound as good 20 years from now. And what we're able to do now is you can hook up this record player to your PC or Mac, and with a piece of software, it'll actually allow you to be able to archive your favorite music in a high-resolution music format called DSD.
Now, why would I want to do that instead of just buying my songs from a digital music store or something like that?
So one of the big things right now when we're buying music online or when we're streaming, we're sacrificing quality for convenience, right? Streaming has to be really small files in order to keep our data down and everything. And it sounds good, right? It's usually loud and bassy, but you lose a lot of that nuances that the artist was looking for, right? That where you can hear their lips coming together, taking a breath in between songs, the strumming of a guitar, that all gets lost in compression. That's why people love vinyl, because it's got that warm analog sound. If you love that tactile feel of dropping the needle down, sitting down, closing your eyes, and just getting lost in music, and you want to be able to do that with a great record player as a standalone piece, but then have the convenience of being able to archive it, anyone who listens to vinyl is going to want to buy one of these because it allows you to take that with you anywhere and everywhere.
Sometimes all the digital music in the world isn't the same as the crackle pop of your favorite vinyl record. One thing I'd love to have now is Sony's newest headphones. It's definitely all about the bass with these beauties.
We're actually showing off a brand new series of headphones called the Hear On headphones. Headphones are not just about being able to listen to great music, it's a fashion accessory, right? People want to be able to have the headphones matching what they're wearing, their lifestyle, all of that. So we've built a new headphone that sounds amazing, the build quality is incredible, it looks really cool, but most importantly, the sound is unbelievable. They're very comfortable to wear for long periods of time.
What does it look like?
So the ones I actually have here, these have a real funky teal color.
Okay.
And we have them in a red, a yellow, classic black as well. But it's a very metallic, rich finish, which is really, really nice. But what I really love about these headphones is the fit and finish on them. The ear cups are really soft. They form fit nicely to your head. Have you ever worn headphones that after half an hour you get fatigue?
Absolutely.
Pressing on your ears. I wore these for the full 5-hour flight when I flew down here. No fatigue whatsoever. I got off the plane, I put them on my shoulders, and I couldn't wait to put them back on. So for long listening, they're great, and they're good for any type of music, from hip hop with heavy bass to jazz, classical, acoustical. The balance of these headphones are awesome, and they're really lightweight, so it makes it very easy to be able to carry around with you as well.
Now, speaking of headphones, in today's day and age, most of us wear them on a daily basis, and there's often chatter about potential hearing loss. This goes back decades to when the first professional in-ear monitor was made by Stephen Ambrose. The president of Acius Technologies has created a new line of headphones called Adele, which can alleviate that issue. How?
With regular earbuds and hearing aids and in-ear monitors, your body turns your volume down and you turn it up and burn out your hearing. With my second eardrum, it beats up the second eardrum instead of yours. It takes away the harmful pressure and allows just the sound to go through, and your ears are less sensitive and it sounds better and louder, and that's what we do here. It's headphones, it's hearing aids, it's in-ear monitors, it's earbuds, and it's a new device which is a bubble that inflates in your ear, made out of that same membrane, and we can take people with absolutely no hearing, a severed nerve in one ear, and with this bubble we can send the sound through to the good ear, and the good ear hears the difference between the acoustic sound and the transduced sound and gives the person the experience of stereo. And we just filmed it before you got here with one of the persons from Johnson & Johnson who happened to have a totally deaf ear, and he said, "Oh my God, I can hear in both ears."
Wow, what an amazing and life-changing device. I'm sure we haven't heard the last of Acius.
Coming up, more life-changing technology, plus an interview with the legendary Stevie Wonder.
AMI Inside CES 2016 will return. This is AMI Inside CES 2016.
I'm Grant Hardy, and thanks for joining us for this very special edition of AMI Inside CES 2016. Words cannot describe the energy and excitement felt the moment you walked through the doors of this event. For nearly 50 years, the technology at CES has improved people's lives and made the world a better place.
Speaking of which, one company at CES is creating interactive braille display technology aimed at connecting the visually impaired to the digital world. And I couldn't be more excited about it. Shep Pitts, the Chief Technical Officer for Polymer Braille, tells us more.
It's like an e-reader for the visually impaired. So you can surf the web, you can read books, you can do Google searches, you can do Word documents, you can have access to journal publications, magazines, just the digital Internet of Things. One of the special features about ours is that we have multiple lines as well as columns. So you can do Excel and stuff like that. It's also connected to things like your mobile phone. We can do gesture controls, zoom in and zoom out on the screen. So it's like a tactile pixel array that we have.
So what I'm touching here is a mock-up of what the device will look like, correct?
Correct.
So I see the Braille keyboard, where I enter text. I see a few lines of Braille, and then a graph. What am I going to be able to do with that?
You could zoom in on it to see the area under the curve. You could teach mathematics. You could see multiple deviations, things of this nature. We could also do pie charts, line graphs, line art, stuff like that. We want to facilitate the visually impaired market to have something to connect to the digital world, to become more educated, to have immersive digital experience at their fingertips.
That's pretty great. I wish they had something like that when I was in school. And it's great to see the advancements in technology for people who are blind or partially sighted. Speaking of which, we met a woman named Anita Aaron who was checking out CES for the first time.
What I like is how quickly things appear to be changing in the world of accessibility to electronics. And so I'm most excited about looking at the accessible exhibits, the items that are already accessible and how that has happened quickly over time.
Anita also told us about a groundbreaking invention she had just heard about. It was Casio's 2.5D printing technology. Martha Siski with Casio tells us about the new technology that was created for people that are blind or visually impaired.
We were inspired to help people with visual impairment rapidly get access to Braille text and also to things like tactile maps and other educational materials.
So what am I holding?
This is a tactile map with both print Braille and a raised walking path so that you can get to your destination.
Okay. And how did you make this?
So this is a special paper that was developed by Casio. It has both ink and a raised surface. The raised surface comes from a heat production that we use to expand the particles of the paper. When it is available commercially, it will be focused towards the education sector, first in Japan, and then we're going to look at the market for this worldwide.
I think that will definitely make it easier to access visual materials in a very cost-effective way. I look forward to it hitting the market, much like this next product we came upon at CES. Perceptive Devices founder and CEO Uday Parshanikar tells us how their life-changing invention is a new way for people with disabilities to control their PC.
Let's say you're in front of a computer and you're thinking about something. You don't want a computer to just follow your face at that point.
Yeah.
But when you're ready, what you do is you smile, and then the computer knows that, okay, now you're trying to communicate with it, and then the cursor comes alive, and then you move your head or your eyes, and the cursor starts moving on the screen. And in fact, you can do many more things than just moving the cursor. You can click, you can scroll, you can click and drag. So a lot of neat things.
So let's say I want to click, how do I do that?
You do a quick smile like this. So you basically,
Okay, really quick smile.
Yeah, really quick smile, yeah. By providing millions of people who have disabilities who are related to use of their hands, we not only allow them to use the computer, but we allow them to communicate with their families and friends. So that's one big area we can make a big difference. So this is not restricted, does not have to be restricted just for computers, but any electronic device. So it could be a light switches, it could be a refrigerator, you could be talking to a refrigerator asking for, okay, how much groceries are remaining, how much milk do I have? So it's really up to you how to utilize our technology.
Wow, that's so simple but so brilliant. Technology really has come a long way in the past few years and will put PCs in the reach of so many more people. Speaking of the transition of technology, do you remember back in the day when your phone was used as just that, a phone? Not anymore. Now it can even be your eyes. iPolly is an app that helps visually impaired or blind individuals see the world through their smartphone.
Alberto Rizzoli, the co-founder of iPolly, tells us more.
We created an artificial intelligence to help the visually impaired and the colorblind understand their surroundings through their phone. So the way it works is there is basically like a little brain inside this app. It's a simulation of the human brain using what's called an artificial neural network. It's like an artificial brain inside an app that understands what the phone is looking at. Well, if you were to use it at home, or in an unfamiliar place, perhaps in someone else's home, you can navigate through it by detecting doors. It can detect cabinets, but also items like kitchenware, door handles, things that you can find in a bathroom, and it detects them continuously. So you just have to wave it in front of objects. It's very fast. It's a free solution, so anyone can afford it. And you know, it's a real helping hand when you want to you know, find an object or find your way out of somewhere. And it's very easy to use. You just have to tap one button and it starts speaking as it sees objects.
Free and easy? What's not to like? Just after talking to Alberta, we came upon Paul Schroeder. Paul talked about some of the hottest trends at CES this year and told us what he's most looking forward to.
Connected home, of course, is huge, and I'm anxious to see what a lot of the companies are offering for people who are blind. As we all know, everything from the trivial, like controlling lights in our house, to controlling our appliances, our kitchens, has become harder and harder with more touchscreen devices. And so I'm really anxious to see if a connected home through a smartphone gives us much more capability than we've ever had.
Excellent point, Paul. I'm anxious to see what advancements have been made in the area of smart home technology as well. Lucky for us, we take a look after this short break.
AMI Inside CES 2016 will return. This is AMI Inside CES 2016.
Hi and welcome back. I'm Grant Hardy and this is AMI Inside CES 2016. I'm standing on the show floor where the Internet of Things is everywhere. Just about anything that can be connected is, or soon will be.
And our homes are no exception. The smart home is one of the hottest trends at CES this year. I don't know about you, but I have the tendency to lose a lot of things inside my house, keys being one of them. However, I think Tile may have just solved that problem. Ryan Katzman with Tile tells us how their app keeps you close to the things that matter the most.
Tile is great for helping you keep track of everything you don't want to lose, right? All those everyday items like your keys, your wallet, your purse, your bags. So your phone can now find all of those items, and the reverse is also true. Your phone can find your keys can now find your phone. It's about a 1 inch by 1 inch square, about the size of a matchbox, and it's just a few millimeters thick. It's all white. I have it on my keys, I have it on my laptop bag, on a few different items.
Right
but most importantly, when I get in the car, I can, don't have to look at my bag to see if I have everything. I can just open up the app and I can see that I have everything with me. It's almost like my own personal management system. So I'm here holding an iPad here, just essentially an oversized iPhone. And here I'm looking at a list view of all the different tiles we have on display here. Your keys, your Apple TV, your purse, your wallet, a bag, anything you don't want to lose. And if we wanted to find something, say we had lost our little keys right here, I would press on the keys on the app, and that takes me to a page that now says Find. There's a button that says Find. And I press that button here, and then you can hear the Tile, and it's 90 decibels, so this is very loud. We're in a loud convention center, so it might not sound that loud, but it's pretty darn loud.
This can find your device too, right?
That's exactly right. So like I said, I'm holding an iPad here. It would also work for an iPhone. But in this case, if I just double tap my Tile, now my iPad is ringing very loudly. So if it was in the house or at work, you'd be able to find it.
I love it. Now that could really save me some time and really simplify my life, much like this next product. Jeff Ingram with Samsung tells us with their new smart fridge, you'll never have to forget anything again.
The kitchen for many families is a central hub of activity, from touch and base of what they've been doing all day to being able to have dinner together, cooking. So the whole purpose of bringing the family together in the kitchen is having a screen that can display things like photos, calendars, so who's got a dentist appointment this week, Jimmy's soccer practice, and also being able to make post-it notes on the screen. So the traditional way of having a refrigerator was putting all these different things with magnets. Now this is all done with a 21.5 inch display. In the actual refrigerator are some cameras called inner view cameras. What that's going to allow you to do is maybe on the way home you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to cook my wife a real nice dinner tonight, but I'm not so sure if I got eggs in there. So you can access from your mobile device, look at the contents in your refrigerator. Oh, I need maybe some ketchup or some eggs, or I need to get some more milk. And you're going to be able to see that, go to the grocery store and get it on the way home.
Wow, that's certainly very 2016. And so is this next robotic. I don't want to speak for all of us, but I doubt there are too many people that enjoy vacuuming. Tripping over cords, missing areas, you may never have to worry about any of that again with the new LG HomeBot. Albert Lee tells us how your robotic vacuum can not only clean your house, it can also keep an eye on it.
The HomeBot is actually part of our vacuum cleaner line, and it's this automated little friend that will go around and clean your house while you're away or if you're too busy to. But what's neat for 2016 is we've added a couple cool features. In one particular instance, the HomeBot will sort of map out and track your entire layout, the lay of the land, if you will, because there's a camera built into it. And what you can do is identify through an app where you think it will be the most dirt. And the HomeBot will essentially hone in on those areas, focus in, and do a little bit more extra cleaning, if you will. There's another cool feature too as well that we call kind of like a vacation mode. So if you tell it, I'm gonna be away going to Mexico for a week, basically the HomeBot knows to sort of take it a little easier. He knows it's not going to be as dirty, but will do his thing. But because he's also got a camera, if he detects any kind of weird motion that he's not expecting, because he thinks you're away, he will actually take a picture and send it to you and say, hey, you should know about this.
Incredible! I know what I'll be adding to my Christmas wish list this year. Now, sticking with cleaning and technology, LG also had another pretty amazing invention on display. And with it, I may never have to iron again.
It kind of looks like a bit of a refrigerator, like a very skinny refrigerator, but what it is it's called the LG Styler. And the way I like to describe it is it's kind of like a personal valet. It's a steam closet, if you will. So it'll save you a lot on steam, like going to the dry cleaner and whatnot, but by just simply using steam and simply the rhythmic motion of shaking your clothes, it'll take out wrinkles. It really gives it sort of that nice, clean freshness. This also has NFC, so you can download all kinds of profiles and different settings. And because a lot of Canadians have started using this for their hockey equipment, stinky sports equipment, running shoes, you name it, that they've actually come up with, LG has come up with an actual sports setting for Canadians. So we're very proud of that.
Very Canadian, eh? Coming up, we highlight a few of the other products that are changing the way we live, including NewEyes, Luminous, and Samsung's accessible TV. Don't go anywhere.
AMI Inside, CES 2016, will return. This is AMI Inside, CES 2016.
Welcome back to this very exciting edition of AMI Inside CES 2016. I'm Grant Hardy, and I'm standing on the very loud, very busy, very exciting concourse at the Las Vegas Convention Center, where some of the greatest technology is being showcased.
And for more than 20 years, Mike Agerbo has been making his way to CES. Mike, the host of Get Connected on AMI, says a lot has changed over time.
You know, it's gotten larger and larger. I think when I first started going to it, there wasn't that many things. It was like televisions and stereos and car stereos. But because technology is just in all aspects of our lives now, it encompasses everything. I'd like to think technology makes lives better. You know, they connect us, so we're more of a connected world. We understand each other more. We can communicate better.
Yes, technology definitely has made it easier for us to communicate. Another thing that has changed a lot over the years are trends, and this year is no exception. However, this year the sky really is the limit for one type of product.
Drones have really taken off. They've got all sorts of different ones. Quadcopters, they've got little plane ones now. I even saw a submersible drone that goes underwater, which is kind of cool. So we're seeing huge advances there. Wearable technology, you know, with the smartwatches, things like the Fitbits. You know, this wearable technology is being even integrated into your clothes. I saw something at Samsung, the Samsung Smart Belt, that when you're wearing that, it will actually alert you if you're eating too much to your smartphone. Something I need myself.
I wouldn't say you need one, Mike. But what I do need from Samsung is one of their new smart TVs. Some of their standard new features include 4K UHD resolution, an auto depth enhancer, and Smart View. but they've also included accessibility features. Daniel Hodgins with Samsung tells us more.
So if you long press on the mute button on this device, it's going to pull up your accessibility shortcuts. Very, very easy to get to the things that are going to be important, which is great for anybody that's got visual impairment, because if you can't find it in the first place, it doesn't do you much good. So we've got the voice guide, which will read off everything that your TV is doing. We've also got video description, which works with certain content. It'll actually describe what's going on. So for people that are completely blind, can't see anything, it'll still describe what's going on in the program. You have to have the right content for that. We have an option called Learn Remote Control. So if you were going to get a new TV and you got a remote, how do you learn your remote?
Right.
I'm going to put the remote in your hand right now.
Okay.
Push any of the buttons on the remote.
Left. I saw right there. Down, so that would be to go through the menus.
So you're sitting at home, and now you can, on your own time, just go through it until you remember what all the buttons on your remote do, which is going to make your TV much, much easier to access between the voice guided and the fact that you know that this is the source button, this is the menu button, this is the up and the down. It's going to make it easier.
Yeah, you know what I love, and I've never owned an accessible TV before, but since you can turn the feature on just by holding down that big button on the left of the remote, and since you have that remote learn, you could literally pull it out of the box and plug it in and never need sighted help to configure it the way you wanted it. I can't wait to get my hands on the new Samsung Smart TV. Speaking of hands, I know a lot of people won't be able to keep their hands off this next product. NewEyes is the first ever wireless, voice-activated device designed to look like a pair of sunglasses for people that are visually impaired.
Justin Moore, co-founder of NewEyes, tells us more about this life-changing product.
NewEyes is essentially a pair of electronic glasses, and inside those glasses an Android tablet. So instead of looking through the glasses, you look at a pair of LED screens. And so what that does is it recreates the image that's collected in the center of the camera that's in the middle. So you got an HD camera that's in the middle, and it picks things up. What's great about it, it's voice activated, so you can tell it make things bigger, make things smaller. It zooms in and zooms out. You give it a command, NewEyes, make bigger, NewEyes, make smaller, and it actually hears you and controls the camera with your voice. So what we've done is made it so a person can take it around. Right now the standard is a CCTV. They're about 50 pounds, they're heavy, they're stationary. And what we've done is for the course of being in the business with CCTVs, people say, hey, you know what, I want to take this and I want to watch a movie. I want to go to the gallery. I want to see grandkids play. I want to be able to sit in my easy chair and read. And so these are the types of things that these glasses allow people to do. And like you said, this is a low vision product. And the magnification goes to about 15 times, so it's not in that range there. And then it's got the extra contrast, so if they're light sensitive, they can flip that polarity around and see the black on white. There's the OCR that's built into it. Okay. So if you pick up a bill from Time Warner Cable, you have the glasses on, you say NewEyes scan, it will take a picture, scan it, and then Bluetooth it to basically read it to you through your either headset or your hearing aid.
That's amazing. Moving from technology that helps people see to technology that helps people be seen. Jeremy Wall is the creator of Luminous, a company that makes clothing and backpacks that light up.
So this year we're actually exhibiting for the first time ever to the public Luminous's product line. We have 13 pieces in our initial product line, but it's all LEDs integrated into clothing and backpacks.
Yeah, sometimes I feel a little unsafe. I'm holding a white cane, which is a bit reflective, and you can get reflective clothing, but that doesn't always really go far enough, right?
Exactly, and so that's what I refer to as passive lighting. Okay. So we have the integrated LED lights, so it's actual active lighting, and beyond being just lights on your clothes, it's fairly bright, but it has the ability to flash and change animation depending on what you need. So a big example is that you go to the Luminous app, you put in your final destination, and then you put your phone away. What it does is it guides you by the lights. So on your sleeve cuffs, right where your wrist is, you have lights that'll change color into an amber turn signal. So that's great for bicyclists or anyone out on the road to let the cars or other people around you know which way you're headed. It starts flashing yellow on your back right on your chest as well as your sleeve cuff.
Oh, that's so cool. So it actually guides the people around you, in a sense, to tell them where you're going. What a neat, high-tech solution that will serve me well on my daily commutes.
Coming up after the break, you'll meet the furriest robot I've ever had my hands on.
AMI Inside CES 2016 will return. This is AMI Inside CES 2016.
Hello and welcome back to AMI Inside CES 2016. I'm Grant Hardy and I'm in the broadcast tower above the show floor with Paul, a CES veteran. Paul, how would you describe this to someone who's never been before?
Hi, Grant. I would say that the one word I would use to describe this is just vast. It's the size of 50 football fields here. They recommend right away when you sign up to wear comfortable shoes. That's the first thing they say, and if you don't, you get punished. It's a massive spectacle. It's an assault on all the senses, usually in a good way. It's completely overwhelming.
Now, why is this just so cool?
I think it's cool because you get a mixture of all the vendors. Like, everyone's heard of Samsung and LG and all of these other types of big name vendors, but there's a lot of opportunity for smaller vendors. You see people and you ask them for a website and they actually have a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe, and that's kind of how they're starting out. And they're here with a booth showing off their things, and sometimes, even often, their tech is more interesting, more innovative than what the big guys are doing, and it levels the playing field. I've noticed that over the years, CES has become less and less and less of a nerdy thing. It's in mainstream press now, and it's just for everyone.
Speaking of mainstream, mostly everyone has heard of Netflix. Well, this next furry creature stars in the Netflix show Master of None. It's a big hit on the show, and it was an even bigger hit at CES. Paro, the robotic companion, was designed by Japan's Intelligent System Research Institute. Christine Su tells us more.
All right, Grant. So this is a therapeutic robot we use in hospitals, nursing homes. They help to reduce the anxiety, the depression, agitation of those residents and patients. So it is actually a baby seal, a form of baby seal. It's white, and it's an antibacterial fur.
Oh, he's cute. And what does it do? So right now he's making noise and his head is going up and down.
They are sensors or touch sensor over the body. So when you touch him, he'll react. For instance, if you scratch him here at the top of his head, he'll react, and he makes, it's a recorded baby seal sound. There's a lot of artificial intelligence built in on the robot, so they are voice activated too. So when you talk, he actually turn around and turn his head around and look at you. And also the body temperature, there's a temperature control inside, so the temperature is warm. And there are several processors inside, so the processor does the voice recognition and imitate animal behavior.
I honestly couldn't get over how real it felt. I understand why people of all ages fall in love with it, kind of like 3D printing. Whether you're an inventor wanting to analyze your prototype, an aspiring video game developer, or if you just want to get crafty using the latest computer technology. Kobe Kabili, Chief Technical Officer for Robo3D, tells us how you can print just about anything in this day and age.
So today we have the R1 Plus, our flagship model. This model has a 10 by 9 by 8 inch build volume. It's got 80 millimeters per second speed, and it does over 20 plus materials, anywhere from PLA, ABS, wood infused materials, carbon fiber infused materials, even metal infused. The applications are endless with this machine. So far, what we've done today is we are printing out Enable prosthetic limbs. So what we can do is print out these hands. We give them to this project called Enable, and this Enable program gives them to kids that don't have limbs, and they can actually give them to them for free, or for a small price, you can build a limb for under $30, where in reality, a prosthetic would cost anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. So our solution to get people 3D printing is to offer 3D print kits. And what we have is, start off is a 3D printing a guitar. And what these 3D print kits offer are the hardware along with the files that you can print your own colored guitar, and then you add the hardware that's in the box, and it gets you 3D printing in a matter of minutes.
Wow, things certainly have come a long way since the dot matrix printers. But I guess the same can be said about computer monitors and keyboards for that matter. And that takes us to our next cool tech gadget. LG has released a new portable keyboard called the Rolly keyboard. Albert Lee tells us more.
What we have here with us right now is what LG lovingly calls the Rolly keyboard. So when it's all closed up, it basically looks like a baton almost. It's almost like a stick. Some people think it's a Bluetooth speaker. Some have even thought it was a printer. But what it is essentially is when you roll it out, you have a 4-row keyboard, which you can hook up to anything via Bluetooth. Runs on one AAA battery, and it's extremely portable. So it's great to throw in your pocket. If you've got a tablet that you already use, you can sync the two up, and if you're in a plane or a train or somewhere compact, you don't have a lot of real estate, leg room, you can definitely use this to get lots of work done and be productive.
So how do I unroll it?
Basically, there's a magnetized edge. You kind of have to be careful with it.
Okay.
You got to figure out where it is, but once it unhooks, once you get it to release, it basically rolls out nice and easy as can be.
What a great idea. Convenient, cool, and super compact. That would be a great gift for anyone. Here's another great gift, one that I'm sure would be a big hit for beer drinkers. It's called Pico Brew, and it's your own personalized microbrewery. Pico Brew founder and CEO Bill Mitchell tells us more.
This is the Pico Brew Pico, and this is the world's smallest fully automatic beer brewing machine for home. It's all black, it's about the size of an espresso maker, and it can brew 5 liters of your favorite craft beer. Not only can you reproduce that beer that you might have had when you were visiting San Jose or Boston and you can't get in your local, hometown, but you can customize it. You can raise or lower the alcohol, raise or lower the IBUs, the bitterness, and change the mouthfeel. We've got a range of beers available. We've partnered with some of the best craft breweries in the world, and the goal is so that you can taste and brew in the comfort of your own home their craft beers. Beer is like liquid bread, and it's designed to taste best fresh.
Cheers to that, that's for sure. Coming up next, autonomous cars, futuristic wheelchairs, and the legendary Stevie Wonder. You don't want to miss it.
AMI Inside CES 2016 will return. This is AMI Inside CES 2016.
Welcome back to this very special edition of AMI Inside CES 2016. I'm Grant Hardy, standing on the show floor next to a car that's loaded with the latest and greatest in technology. And who knows, maybe one day a car like this will be able to fly.
We may not be there quite yet. However, cars and trucks become more and more futuristic every day. And for the past little while, there has been a ton of buzz about autonomous cars. And as we mentioned, everything is connected. That includes BMW's i3. Philipp Rienig with the German car maker tells us more.
Well, what we are showing is it's all about connected mobility. So we're bringing together your smart home, your mobile devices, and your BMW. And with that connection, we enable some new use cases for our customers. And that specific use case we're showing here there is what we call gesture control parking. And that works like this. You've got a smartwatch, I'm wearing one just now, and that smartwatch is connected to our car over the cloud, and that enables me to start a parking maneuver of my car just by doing a gesture. The car detects any free parking space when you're passing it, so it's gonna offer it to you in the display in the car. You select it, you get out of the car, do the gesture, go to work, and the car does the magic.
So when I get out of my house and I want to get the car out of the garage, can I just call it to me?
Well, it's even more easy. You just take your key out of the desk, the garage door opens automatically, the car comes out, it's standing in the right direction where you want to go to, so everything's very easy.
It has always been on my bucket list to sit behind the wheel of a car and get from A to B.
Well, we're not there yet, to be honest. We're having more and more use cases that we can do automatically, but to have a full run from home to work or wherever you're going with no driver needed, it's going to take some more years.
Now, until that time, drivers still need to pay attention while behind the wheel, and nowadays it seems harder than ever. That's one of the reasons this next device was invited. TJ Everts, the 20-year-old CEO of SmartWheel, tells us more.
It's the first intelligent steering wheel cover that helps prevent distracted driving. So the way it does this is it installs on any car, just like a regular steering wheel cover. It has sensors around the edge that detect the position of the driver's hands, and from that it's able to determine when the driver's attention starts to drift from the road, because hand position, we found through our research, is a great indicator of where the driver's attention is, especially amongst new drivers. And so what happens is when it detects that, it alerts the drivers in real time with lights and an audio tone, and then records that event for later review through our companion mobile app, which communicates to our device via Bluetooth and assigns the driver a driving safety grade, a breakdown of their driving performance, and also improvement over time. So what we do is we allow the driver to drive with one hand off the wheel for about 4 to 5 seconds, which should be plenty of time to do anything you would normally do in the car. And then after that, it will alert you and say, hey, at least reposition your hands so I know you're paying attention. We were actually selected and won one of the Vehicle Safety Innovation Awards presented by the show here for our technology. And we're just so honored to be recognized in that way. And especially since our device is a life-saving product, it's going to save people's lives. And I feel really privileged to be working on a technology like that.
It's great to know people of all ages are thinking about how we can stay safe behind the wheel.
Now, on the subject of transportation, when you think of a wheelchair, most people think of a standard manual chair that can have restrictions on where it can go. That's one of the reasons the Will was created. Chris Koyoma with Will tells us more. We're sitting in very comfy chairs right now. Can you tell me about the chair I'm sitting in?
So this is a personal mobility device with unique front wheels. They're called omnidirectional wheels, or some people call it all-directional wheels. It consists of 24 wheels on the wheel to allow me to maneuver and glide sideways. So I'll do a demonstration. And I'm gliding to my left.
Okay.
Then I'm gliding back to my right on the spot. And what that means is it gives me a really tight turning radius. It's a very modern, contemporary, futuristic-looking chair. This is four-wheel drive, and with the large circumference of the front wheels, you can actually go over obstacles really well. You can go over grass, gravel, sand, and rough sidewalks with cracked sidewalks. You can control it on our mouse-like control on your right.
Right.
We have an iPhone app which connects with Bluetooth. There's a big connect button which I'm going to press.
Okay.
It gives me an option between a remote control, seat slide, and speed setting. What I'm going to do is choose the remote control feature, and then now I'm remotely operating my chair.
Wow.
This is practical for people who have chairs. If they have a hard time walking, you don't want to have to go to the chair, you want the chair to come to you. Also for the caregiver, it's also nice to be able to not have to push from the back, but be beside you and navigate the chair right next to you and have a conversation in a natural way instead of speaking to somebody from the back. What we're trying to do is change that perception of personal mobility devices, that it can be cool, that it can be futuristic, that people can be confident in.
I couldn't agree more about changing the stigma associated with disabilities. It shouldn't be about what people can't do. It should be about what people can do. And with a little help from technology, it's becoming easier. Just ask musician Stevie Wonder, whom we happened to run into on the show floor.
The fact that you were able to use various Braille devices to interface through Bluetooth or Wi-Fi to different units, for instance, to be able to use your Braille device as a controller to get your information off the phone or to do all the various things that sighted people can do. So that's been great. And obviously, voice recognition, how it's being used, has been great. I'm a pro Braille person, so I like, that as much as the technology has grown and made things more available, that Braille has come along with it so that blind people can read, and people with low vision as well can still have the accessibility of being able to use these devices to read and see better.
I agree with Stevie. Technology is moving forward, and I can't wait to see what's just around the corner.
That's all the time we have, but believe me when I say we've only covered a small fraction of what's here. From startups with a fresh new concept to technologies that can actually sense our needs before we do. The innovations unveiled at CES 2016 are absolutely incredible. Technology has helped me all my life, and I love to see new ideas that can bring people together, save a little time, and even save a life. I can't wait to see what's next in the world of innovation. Thanks so much for watching.
Host Grant Hardy. Producer Carrie Lynn Twydale. Videographer and editor Amit Tandon. DV specialist Ron Rickford. Audio post Santiago Moffat. Graphics Mike Smith. Created by Rebecca Ellison and Kelly McDonald. Production supervisor Janice Civitilli. Senior producer Michelle Dudas. Director of production Kara Nye. Director Programming AMI TV Brian Perdue. Vice President Programming and Production John Melville. President and CEO David Arrington. Copyright 2016, Accessible Media Incorporated.